Alright, look at this guy. I wish I could ride around on a golf cart all day. But just like so, we raise this all the way up because we're going to be driving from underneath on the bottom. All right, that's up all the way. Now I'm going to raise this Camaro up all the way. And I'm going to make sure I move that strap so it's not just going to be hanging like that. That way when I'm going to be driving. So every setup's a little bit different. I used to drive an easy loader 80 footer. This is a 75 footer. I believe it's called a half stack or something like that, half side. It's essentially, it loads similar to a high rail because that platform is completely individual. It slides forwards, backwards, up, down, and then this is all connected. But as you see, this platform moves individually as well. So it's actually disconnected, which is very nice because whenever you're doing trucks, for example, you could do the split deck and get much better height. And with the truck package, even sometimes you get better height than even an easy loader. So this is actually not a bad setup at all for it being a 75 footer. The only drawback is of course the length, and you got to watch out for the distance between the cars on the truck and the cars on the trailer. But the general rule is bumper to bumper, whenever it's round corners, one full elbow to hand is enough room. But and then if it's like, for example, these ears right here, the part that the GoPro right now is clipped to, for example, right here, you always want to have 2 elbows. So generally speaking, you don't want the bumper to be past this line, but every trailer is different. Like for example, a different trailer, there might not be this line, so you just kind of know where to place it and position it. I usually just go up to the line. With it being small units, I'm just gonna go till the doors open right here. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The only drawback, like I said, it being shorter, and you have to kind of inch in units more so than you do on a 80 footer. So, but I think in the next few years, maybe even by the end of this year, our company is gonna have all 80-foot easy loaders, but we'll see. For now, we're driving this setup because we are in fact a rookie in the company. So just like so, once I get up to here, about halfway is at the line, but these units are short. So as you can see, I can open that door with plenty of space. So we're gonna move it up just a little bit more. Always do the, sorry YouTube, I'm about to get demonetized, but always want to pull the e-brake before putting it in park. That ensures that the car is in fact stable. The camera's still running, that is good. So you come out, always double check. Yeah, as you can see, plenty of space. I can still move it up a little bit up to the line, but these units are small, so we're just gonna go ahead and leave it the way it is. I don't put on all the straps until I have all my units on. So we're gonna back this one on. Let's see. Yep, we're fairly center in the middle. That's another thing. Sometimes it comes with experience, but sometimes having I've hauled a lot of GM units in the past. So like whenever there's other companies like Volkswagen or Beamer or Ford, they're a little bit different sizes. So sometimes I have trouble whenever I'm loading, whenever it comes to getting it centered. But we don't have a problem with these GMs. So we're gonna go right up to about Yeah, see, I got plenty of room back there on the between the two cars. So this time it just comes down to, you know, how far. See, just like that, plenty of space so I can get out. And also, you know, kind of the position of the wheel, so that's also important. We're gonna move it up just a tad bit. Right there is perfect, so I can hook onto that, and then the wheel's actually stationary on that platform, so whenever I hook on the other side, it's not just bending it up. So yep, this car is done. Set the e-brake, put it in park. I may be a little bit crooked, but that's okay, it's not the end of the world. Make sure hazards get turned off, and just like so. All right, gotta be careful sometimes getting in and out of these units, because these doors can very easily touch. Like for example, you know, like right here. This is a smaller unit, but on a big unit, sometimes if you not position it correctly, you can actually touch up there. But yeah, that's pretty much it right there. Actually, we're fairly centered also, not too bad. We're gonna go ahead and flip these in just like so. We're gonna drop this ramp down on the easy loaders and 80 footers. On the easy loader 80 footers, the newer ones, these things work automatically. And because you have extra length, like, see, I have to manually lower this. On the 80 footers, that all does it automatically, without having to manually do it, which is all good. So last thing, load the Acadia. Should be positioned fairly well because I had a Volkswagen Atlas. I had a Volkswagen Atlas on there, and I believe it's slightly, well, it was a crossport, so it should be similar size to this Acadia. So I don't have to adjust where the ramps are sitting right now. Should be perfect. All right, let's see here. Should be good. And then these ones, you just kind of go on the tail. You just go up until that's about right. We'll go a little bit more. Just like that. All right, set the e-brake, then park, boom shakalaka. Always take the keys out of the last car. Sometimes we're required to take the keys out of all the cars, but the last car is a must. Now, this is a really small car, so I didn't have to, but sometimes, it's just a bug. Sometimes, whenever you got big units on here, you'll have to actually strap these down, lower it before bringing this on, because your bumpers will in fact touch. But right here, we're actually perfect. We could bring it in some more, but our length is gonna be just fine. Like for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are legally allowed 6, and I'm like about 5.5 feet overhang. So yeah, we could bring it up just a tad bit more, but it's fine. I'd rather have it sit fully on the flippers anyway. Go ahead and lock this car, and I always put the keys in the truck so I don't lose them, so I don't forget them. Just like so. And I usually hang them up over there, but for now we'll just set it right next to the shifter. All right, was this even recording? I think it wasn't recording. That's okay, no worries. We'll deal with that later. So yeah guys, let's go ahead and start strapping. We're gonna start on this side, and what I like to do, it's always, you know, it's never gonna be the same, but for the most part I like to work one side. I never turn this car off, I just realized, so we'll make sure once we get on the other side to turn this car off because it's still running. And of course, with our camera sticking out, I keep touching the cars with the camera because it's like a sore thumb sitting on my forehead. All right, get that on, just like that. I've hit my head countless times on this stupid bar right here. and I just did it again. Ow. That's one thing I miss on the Easy Loaders, is the fact that it has less of just random stuff sticking out. All right, well, that's okay. Sometimes you gotta get hit on the head. Sometimes you just gotta get hit on the head, so it reminds you that you are in fact just a human being that is living on this life, waiting to pass on to hopefully heaven. I know everybody has their own beliefs, but that is not all the straps have them. Some straps already it's fallen off, but usually these rubber pieces right here, you want to kind of get them centered on the wheel, just like so. That just helps with providing, you know, that support. All right, guys, let's not talk too much and strap everything down. This strap is tore to pieces. The reason being, it still works because it's the main part isn't all chopped up. But can I get the hook in there? I can get the hook in there. Perfect. So this part, this strap is shredded up because the guy that normally drives this truck, he leaves them hanging in here whenever he's empty. And I guarantee you, one time he probably didn't click this in, and that pretty much came down onto the asphalt and just started rubbing everywhere. So that's my theory. The reason why I say that is once I had a similar situation, but with the strap on the belly, where I never put it up the correct way, and it ended up getting onto the road and pretty much got shredded. I had to replace it because it was literally torn to the point where it wasn't safe to use anymore. But making our way, making our rounds. Let's get this. All right, guys, what do you guys think? Is my YouTube channel actually worth watching, or am I doing this all for no reason? Because I try to be more entertaining, you know, actually maybe be educational and stuff. I've been doing this for a full year, over a year now, so I'm still pretty new. I'm 22. I got my CDL as soon as I turned 21, and so I've been doing it ever since. But still a lot that I can learn. Man, I just bought these gloves and I wish I didn't. This material right here, okay, the top would normally soak, but the bottom is getting soaked, which is terrible. Like, my fingers right now are really cold. Not much I can do about that, because these are my only pair of gloves, because I've been switching. I drove a flatbed. My previous company, I drove a Volvo car hauler. This company has all Peterbilts, but they have flatbeds and dry vans that I've been working on as well. So yeah, once I get my own truck, you know, and I have my own system and everything set up and gloves in there, everything will be nice and smooth. But that won't happen anytime soon. I have to still prove my worth at this company, being young and ambitious, but I don't have the experience that there's guys in this company that have been doing it for a decade, and I'm still a noob, so to say. Get these hooks in, set these up just like that. And the reason why, aha, let's turn it off. There we go. Glad I didn't forget. But the reason why I work this system where I go around and I strap everything down before I go back around with a ratchet is because, number one, this is kind of the most annoying part, because you have to get to the hook that's right here. So it's kind of uncomfortable, as well as you get pretty dirty whenever you rub up against the equipment. But anyway, the reason why I work the system the way I do, with going around and dressing all the straps all at once, and then coming back around and tightening everything down, is because that way I'm able to double check everything, and before I leave I triple check. And that's just something I like to do for safety. Here's my stick that I wasn't supposed to throw, but just like that, make everything really nice and tight. You want to have the straps pretty centered overall. See, this is exactly why I came back around. I seen that the strap was falling off, I fixed it, and now I strap it down. All right, and that's how we do it. So these ones I don't really tighten too tight. The reason being is because whenever that car comes down, it pulls it, so it makes it tight. Some drivers will actually not tighten it down until it's all the way on the ground. I've done that before, but there's never only one and right way to do things. There's always multiple ways of doing things. You know, one driver does it this way, the other driver does it that way. Overall, it's pretty much the same. Like, with my experience, oh boy, this got it dirty. With my experience, I've driven a high rail, Peterbilt, Volvo, manual, 18-speed, 13-speed. So overall, I'm a pretty versatile person, and overall, loading car haulers is pretty straightforward because the cars always go on the same way. So it doesn't matter what kind of equipment you are running, it is pretty much always gonna be the same. All right. This is a little bent. That's no good. Let's see if I can get it to pop. There it is. Just popped out. Come on. There we go. That's pretty tight. So it's always the same, right? Number one always goes backwards. The only time, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And number one always goes backwards because that's how you get the best height. The only way it goes forwards if it's a sedan and you have a spoiler, or if it's a soft roof, you know, convertible, then it can go forwards. And there's special flippers that we use for that. Car on number 6 that goes behind the sleeper always goes backwards because it drops on those buckets right there and it is able to lower the top. Having a sedan, no problem at all. I can even raise it up because we're like 13.2 right here. And then this car always goes forwards, this one backwards, this one's forwards, except for on an 80-footer. That one's forward, this one's backwards, this one's backwards. So overall, it's always the same stuff. The only time it changes is whenever you have something that's unusual that calls for being different. But essentially, see, as you can see, that's why I don't over tighten them. As you can see, it's pulling the car right now this way. As you can tell. Oh, I guess this gets a little stuck. And then we always want to double check. I know I've loaded many of these, so I know it'll be fine. But some cars, whenever they're longer, you'll actually run into an issue between the clearance. That's why whenever that happens, you have to pin it. As you can see, there we go. So it's dropped all the way. This strap just tightened up real nice. This strap just tightened up real nice. So that's exactly why I don't over tighten it. And as you can see, plenty of clearance. We still have like a foot. So let's go ahead and drop this one down all the way. We got to be mindful of this antenna whenever we're dropping down this car, but it's an Acadia on top of an Encore, so we'll be just fine with height. All right, that is down all the way. Huh, I wonder why this is a little bit up more than the other side. I wonder. If I can pick this up. I think that's why, because that side, there it is. Okay, so it doesn't lay all the way flat. As you can see, this pin and that pin, now it's more or less even. Good. Next step, drop the top decks. Always just want to, you know, use common sense, see what goes where first. We got a sedan on the tail, so I know we're gonna make really good height anyway. So right about there is good enough. I'd rather have more space than not enough. Let's see here. We'll go with 2, 4, 6, 6.5 open holes. Here we will do right above the dot. So 6.5 right above the dot. 2, 4, 5 open holes. 2, 4, 5 open holes. Sorry, keep hitting you guys. Right above the dot, and then 6.5 open holes. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6.5. Just like so. And as you can see, we got plenty of clearance here. That's actually, we'll probably actually still need to raise it a little bit, but once this comes down, we'll see. This comes down, this comes down, this comes down. Let's double check. 2, 4, 6.5. Yeah, that's right. I guess that was on a little bit sideways. So we come back here, double check. That's a little tight. You always want to have one full fist between any rack and vehicle. You know, like for example, these bumpers. Oh, that's, you gotta have to mark that. But you know, between the vehicle and any rack, you always want to mark it. All right, we're gonna drop this down one hole just to give it a little extra space. We got a sedan up top anyway, so we're really low height on. Our tallest height is gonna be on 1. Just like that. We got plenty of space now. Let me adjust my camera. Okay. And now we're gonna bring this big boy out. This Traverse. You always want to work it one side and the other side. That just got locked in. And remember what I said about that antenna? So we're gonna go ahead and bring that down a little bit more. I know we were like 13.6 whenever we checked it, but we'll go 2 on the 4th hole, so 3 open holes right here. We'll actually do 4 open holes. So 2, 4 on the 5th one. And then over here, we'll raise this up 1, 2 holes. All right. 1, 2 holes. And then 2, 4, and on the 5th hole. Just like so. All right. This is the process, guys. A lot of, and this isn't, you know, on a high rail. There we go, beautiful. All right, just like so. We got the Traverse on top of the Encore. Got plenty of spare clearance, more than a fist. Antenna's never gonna touch. More than enough clearance over here. This is what I was talking about. You know, 1 fist, so I could park a car up to here. So I have turning radius, but we have plenty of space. We can jackknife this thing and we'll never touch, but we're obviously not gonna do that. Never forget your stick. I always do a second walk around. You know, I know these are good because I loaded them and I already double checked them, but we always walk around, you know, make sure, double check, you remembered everything's strapped, everything's pinned. All right, I know that's strapped, I know this is strapped, that's pinned, strapped, pinned, strapped. These are very important right here because if they come undone, you'll lose a ramp. All right, this side too, it's good. We're strapped, we're pinned. Right here, we're good. See, pinned. We could tighten that down a little bit. I just felt it. It can come down. There we go. That's much better. Makes me feel safer about it. That's pinned, strapped down, pinned, that's strapped. There we go. I know that my height is good, but always double check your height. We have a height stick for a reason, fellas. If you're a car hauler and you're watching this, stop being lazy. Get your height stick out and measure. Because you're gonna, like, for example, I know as a fact, right? I already measured this car and this car at my first dealership. So I already know this is measuring at 13.8 with 6 open holes, right? We feel the top a little bit, right there, boom. That's barely touching, 13.8. All right, I know that I'm 13.8, doesn't matter. Double check. Anytime you're getting loaded, always double check. Right here, just like that, boom. I felt it touch, we're right under 13 feet. All right, let's measure this traverse. We're gonna go off of, let's go right here. You always wanna make sure your height stick is nice and straight and even so you can get the best measurements. Just like that, it's barely touching, right there, barely touching the 13.1. Plenty of space. 13.1. And this Camaro is going to be under 13 feet as well. I'm fairly positive. Right there. See, 12.7.5. So our tallest position is number 1. We are 13.8. Everything else is right around 13 feet. We are good to go. Once I put this high stick up, I make a second round just to be safe, double check. Sometimes, you know, like I'll forget my stick. Before I leave every single time, I always make sure that I have my height stick. I have my my tight down bar. Yeah, my hands are all soaked because of these gloves. We're gonna have to get new ones again. Put on my handy dandy Crocs, my travel shoes. All right, put these back inside, just like so. I always wear the boots if it's really pouring or if it's snowing. We double check everything, just walk through, make sure everything is good, everything looks good, Always double check. It never hurts to come back around a second time. Pins are set, straps are good, top deck straps are good, pins, pinned, that is also pinned. Everything is pinned and strapped down, guys. So I always double check everything because experience. I've made mistakes before, right? I've made mistakes of damaging units, and that's why I always like to double check everything. Damage first mentality, damage free, sorry. Damage free, wipe that camera. Hope that helped a little bit. There we go. Hope that helped, let's see. Yeah, damage free mentality. That's the kind of mentality we wanna have. Always double check everything. Make sure you do a good job. I have a lot of content. It's a 40-minute video. So yeah, guys, we're gonna hit the road. I'm gonna record me pulling out real quick just because truck is real filthy. So once we get down there, unload, load back up, probably hit a truck wash. But yeah, guys, this is it right here. This is how it's done. Someday I'm gonna record a full video of full 9 how to load it, but that's whenever I get a full 9 load and I'll have the time to do so. Love you guys, stay blessed. I'm gonna do some push-ups right now. See you on the next one.